After 18 years of being utterly ordinary, I finally found that I could shine.
I didn't expect you to seem so... you?
So beautiful. We're the same temperature now.
Hey, welcome to the SciFi Chick's Muses mobile review. This is the first mobile review I've done. I decided to start doing these reviews because I find that as much as I'd like to come home and blog my heart out for the rest of the evening about any movie I've seen, I just never really seem to find the time. And being that I'm a little more of a talker than I am a writer, I decided, well, just, take the recorder with you, plug in your mic on the way there, and then plug it in on the way home and talk about what you felt or saw. So I started doing that. I am currently on my way to see Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. I know this film has been out for a while. And, I'm not trying to get my reviews up to beat other people, be the first to do something. I'm just more interested in blogging about the topics that I find interesting. And for those of you that follow my blog, you know that what I mainly concentrate on is discussing or reviewing or highlighting strong female character types in the genres of science fiction, fantasy, and supernatural fiction. Fictions being, TV, movies, books, etc. I'm sure the first thing that pops to most of your minds is, if that's what you do, then why are you going to see Twilight? Because we all know that that Bella is the antithesis of the strong female character type. She's definitely no Buffy. So why am I choosing to review this movie? Well, I wanted to see it because, for those of you who have read the series and know the books, know that in the last book, Breaking Dawn, in the very last half of the book, Bella becomes a vampire, and she gets badass, and she gets cool, and she does some neat things. And I remember when I was reading the series back before it became this big hullabaloo that it is now, back in the day when it first came out, that I thought to myself, man, I really wish they had turned Bella sooner, because she's way more interesting as a vampire than she is as a whiny teenager with all her angst and bad decision making. And I remember truly enjoying the last half of the book because I finally had something to like about her. And so I'm hoping that the movie today will, finally redeem her and bring out those aspects of Stephenie Meyer's book that I did enjoy. I will say that I am not overly optimistic that it will do that.
Spoilers. Hate spoilers. Don't listen any further. From here on out, it's an all spoilers zone.
Hey, well, I'm done with the movie. I just got out of it. And I'd like to start by saying that I know for a fact I am not the intended audience for the Twilight franchise. As I stated in my opening, the reason I really wanted to see this particular one is this is the movie in which Bella becomes a vampire and she develops the kick-ass power of being able to shield those around her from being affected by other vampire powers, and she's totally cool and and gets a little more interesting. But the truth of the matter is that this movie leaves all the really great stuff out of the film. I was thinking to myself right as I walked out of the movie, is like, why is it that I was able to finish the books but these movies really don't work for me? And it's because if you're reading the novel, there's enough stuff in the books that Stephenie Meyer's world building is just interesting enough. The fringe characters, the Jacob and the werewolf legends and how they came to be, the Volturi and how they ruled the vampires and all of the different rules. The idea that when you turn into a vampire, you develop a special power, and each vampire has a different ability, and the Volturi the reason they're kind of scary is they make it a habit of collecting the best vampires with the best powers, and and they're kind of after Alice, and always have been, and all of that stuff is just skimmed over in the movie, and you are inundated endlessly with sitting in fields of flowers with sparkly vampires, and teen vampire sex scenes, and it's really quite nauseating, to be honest with you. Maybe if I was 15 or even in my early 20s, I'd maybe think that was okay. I'm really thinking back to myself in those age, and I don't think so. But what I'm saying is I am not the intended audience, and I wish for a moment that the movie had been about Alice and Jasper, because Alice will and would make the cut, for my opinion, of my list of cool fantasies, supernatural characters that are female, that are kick-ass. She can read the future, she can fight, she's feisty. Her ability to have handled Jasper, because Jasper's power is, to be able to control new vampires and all that. They just totally left all that out, and so it was disappointing. Now, if you're going to watch, let's say it comes on cable one day and you're wondering, should I bother? Well, the answer is sure, because the battle scene between the Cullens and their allies, being the werewolves and the vampires they managed to scrape together to be on their side, against the Volturi, is really, really good. It's very intense. A lot of people die, and I remember when I was watching the film, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that, they kill the, Edward Cullen's dad, and, and all these people die, and I was like, wow, I can't believe they went there. I can't believe they killed off, half the Cullen family in this scene, and wow, how could I forget that? Well, the reason I forgot it is because it really didn't happen. They pulled that The God in the Machine, where, they show all this stuff, and, the Cullens win the battle through sheer force of will, and they kill the Volturi. And I was like, wow, I can't believe the Twilight ended this way. And then it's not. They pull, in 1970, Dallas, Patrick Union wakes up in a shower, and the whole year's been a dream kind of thing. Alice pulls her hand away from holding the Volturi and goes, see, that's your possible future. You can't win against us. And I'm like, really? I forgot. Yeah, none of that happened. They all live happily after, and everybody's in love, and nobody dies, and yeah, and I guess I just wish that it had been braver, because, like I said, there's so much potential in it's sort of like I consider her books an outline. Like, as if she sat down and she's like, okay, here's the werewolves, and here's the vampires, and this is what their society's like, and this is how they function with each other. And then she threw in the love story, and then she let the love story take over. Like, it's an outline for a really great story. And unfortunately, they take all of the really great storyline out of the movies. So just read the book. Just read the last half of the book to get the cool stuff. I will have to say, I do have to say, though, that I did enjoy the novels that focused in on Jacob and his pack. So I say just read the last novel. But if you really are interested in her world building, you would have to read them all. And just, skip over the fact that Edward and Bella are quite annoying. So 2 out of 5 sci-fi girls probably would recommend this movie. And the 2 being that are totally tweens and totally into Twilight. But that's not me. So Bella Swan will not be making my cut. Maybe her sister Alice. But that is my thoughts on Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2.